Hello, my dear friends. Today I'm talking about Uranus in zodiac signs and houses in Natal chart. First of all, I'm talking about Uranus in zodiac signs. Uranus in Aries. Uranus is a planet of independence, innovation, and genius. It's very comfortable here in the sign of new beginnings. Be careful of something else, however, that can come from all of this haste. Accidents, unless something else in the horoscope can moderate this placement. Excessive haste can be a problem. This is a superior position for coming up with inventions and ideas that can be innovative to the point of being shocking. Uranus in Taurus. Here the planet of sudden unexpected change is the sign that is slow to get started but difficult to stop. When Uranus is in Taurus, its great energy is set to honest and constructive work. The erratic nature of Uranus is curbed here, and the force of the planet does seem to concentrate in practical, material matters where its originality can have a great effect. It's about the efficiency by using technology for the resources usage, starting with food, agriculture, all kinds of needs that humans use in day-by-day life. Uranus in Gemini will tend to shock people by expressing weird, socially unacceptable ideas. A whole generation was born with this placement between 1943 to 1949, and they fueled the social upheavals of the 60s. Remember that the whole chart has to be examined before one can conclude that someone with this placement will behave this way overtly or if it will only be a repressed tendency. Uranus in Cancer. If Uranus is the only planet in a water sign or a cardinal sign, then it will be able to focus much of the energy of the horoscope here. Watch out, if Uranus is the only water planet, it will strongly affect feelings. People with this one tend to be a bit hysterical and have extra trouble committing to an emotional relationship. Their urge is to run. Uranus in Leo. Uranus is genius and eccentricity. Leo is dramatic and theatrical. For example, the actress Isadora Duncan used to have this placement in her natal chart. She was a genius who scandalized, for her age, all the people. Of course, not everyone with this Uranus will manifest these qualities. Isadora had Uranus on one side of the horoscope, all by itself, so the effect was increased and became proeminent. Carl Jung is another Uranus in Leo person. He turned the field of psychology upside down with his controversial theory of the collective unconsciousness. Uranus in Virgo. The placement of radical changes in the sign of details can cause one's genius to come out in small ways rather than with major breakthroughs. Virgo is the sign of work and health, so Uranus or any planet is kept busy here. People with this placement will constantly trend to look for new ways to improve their work. They will also be attracted to the very latest in health technology. Nutrition also. This can get them into big trouble because they will tend to think that something is good because it is new. Uranus in Libra, in the sign of partnership, produce a generation of folks who tend to need their own space in marriage. Actually, they don't need and don't like to be controlled and supervised by the partner. Uranus in Scorpio, the planet of the unexpected, in the sign of sex and death. The last time Uranus entered Scorpio was 1975. just about the time that the AIDS epidemic started. It's about the controlling of sexual energy and to deal with the fear of death. Uranus in Sagittarius. Uranus loves to shock, while Uranus in Gemini has a tendency to say shocking things. This Uranus in Sagittarius likes to have shocking principles and tell shocking stories. For example, Vladimir Nabokov, author of Lolita, and Alfred Hitchcock both have this placement. Sagittarius is also a sign of adventure and freedom, and Uranus is independence. Ernest Hemingway was the author on One Born with Uranus here, and these traits show up clearly in the horoscope of Charles Lindbergh. The shocking philosophy part is best illustrated with the chart of Karl Marx also. Uranus in Capricorn is not so bad. The genius of Uranus is put to work doing big things. The generation that made the Victorian era was born in 1820s, when Uranus and Neptune, the dreams, ideas, and illusions, were both here, and dispute its reputation as being stuffy. The Victorian age was one of the great material progress. These two planets were together again recently, in the early 90s. Uranus in Aquarius, its own sign. Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius. It was last here during World War I, a war which, in typical Aquarian fashion, turned everything upside down. Typically, the reaction of Uranus in Aquarius seems to be going through a more peaceful revolution. For example, how it was internet. Now we have, let's say, 5G, 6G, and whatever, virtual reality and all this stuff. As always, Uranus changes things dramatically, even shockingly. Enjoy the ride. Be open to the change. Uranus in Pisces, the planet of genius in the sign of imagination. The last time Uranus was here during the Roaring Twenties, when everyone was busy rebelling against prohibition. You know, Pisces rules alcohol. By itself, this placement doesn't do much. It takes other factors in the horoscope to bring the fact of the imagination into reality. Now let's see the Uranus placed in houses in Natal chart. Uranus in the first house gives you the traits to the sign of Aquarius. At the very least, this makes you independent and gives you an attraction to weird and unusual things, like astrology. There may be a tendency to shock people. The people with Uranus in the first house are very restless. Uranus in the second house. Now, how do you suppose the planet of crazy and unexpected events will act here? The same way. People with this placement are frequently self-employed or get paid on commission. Those in show business tend to have this one. The money comes in lumps and then nothing for a while. If you have a normal 9-to-5 job and Uranus is in the second house, something always seems to happen to interrupt the income. Frequently something crazy. I don't just mean things like quitting or getting fired. Everything can happen anyway. I mean things like the company burns down or the chief financial officer and boss run away with the money or have been jailed. The only way to have both a steady income and Uranus in the second house is to work in some high-tech electronic field that Uranus rules. Uranus in the third house. People with this tend to say and wrote shocking, socially unacceptable things. They might be insightful and brilliant, but people will feel as if they have just gotten an electric shock. If there are siblings, at least one will be highly independent and original, or a crazy eccentric. And be aware of accidents during the travel also, and the sudden situation that have happened with the using hands. Uranus in the 4th house. There will probably be something unusual about the home. Jacques Cousteau had this placement, and he lived on the ship a good portion of the time. The early home life may have involved more than the normal amount of sudden shifts. Or the father is very independent, or brilliant, or really crazy. Your home must have eccentric touches that make visitors take notice, or the latest electronic gadgets. The older you get, the more likely you are to have strange opinions that shock everybody, but you won't care what they think. Uranus in the 5th house. Let's say that you go to a party and there are 20 people in the room. 19 of them have regular office jobs, and the last one is an alien from the UFO quiz. Which one you would want to get involved with? Teenagers with this one usually brings home dates who have shock value of mommy and daddy. This placement can be highly creative, but always in new and innovative way. People with this placement love affairs, will continue to shock other people. The first child will also tend to be either a genius or an eccentric, but children will be accident prone with this one, so be extra careful. Uranus in 6th house. Can't stand to have anyone look over their shoulder while they work. The only boss that you can stand if you have this placement is one who says, "Here's the job, goodbye, see me when it's finished." You may be a genius at work or just plain crazy. Either way, you can shock those around you anyway. Expect to quit or get fired more than normal because those people at work are idiots. Naturally, unusual jobs are best for you, or something dealing with electricity or high-tech. Anything where you can innovate, any activity where you can innovate and shock people is very suited for you. Uranus in the 7th house may never get married, too independent and likes it that way, or they may get married when young to someone much older, or when they are old to someone much younger. There has to be something unusual about the partner or the partnership. Maybe the partner is a genius, or eccentric, or plain flat or crazy. Perhaps the partner travels a lot. Also can be a multi-marriages, or many relationships in the same time. Forget the house in the suburbs with the white. No. If the marriage ever becomes too conventional, it ends. Friendship in marriage is important here. Your own genius may come out when you have a partner, or it may come out through a partner. Uranus in 8th house. Never likes to do the same things twice in a row. This one tends to break social rules and taboos on principle. Of course, after the old rules are overthrown. Uranus wants to replace them with new rigid rules of its own making. It's about to overcome and go through the taboos about sex and everything about financial strategic way to make money and how you use other people's money in a very original way. Uranus in the 9th house. Talk about changing the beliefs you were raised with. Uranus here chops up those beliefs, throws them out, and replaces them with a whole new set, usually something shocking. If you have this placement, never travel to any place usual. Forget that tours in group to Paris. Try the Galapagos Island, maybe, or to the Mars. Talk about changing the beliefs you were raised with. People with the Uranus in the 9th house are able to come with a new religion, with a new philosophy, and to spread it everywhere and shocking everybody. Uranus in the 10th house. Forget about corporation. Organization don't suit you. Unless, of course, it's your own organization. There is getting to be less and less of large organization lately. Because of the internet, of the technology, freelancing, it's very useful and used in the world. It's new and unusual, on the cutting edge, and even shocking. That is the best profession for you. If you, by mistake, have a boss, he or she is probably a genius, eccentric, or crazy. Alan Turing, an early computer pioneer and the man who cracked the uncrackable German Enigma code during the Second World War, had Uranus right at the top of his horoscope. Uranus in the 11th house. Maybe your friends are crazy. At least they are not dull. Actually, they would tend to be independent, original, and not fit into any square holes. Your hopes and wishes would have to be different as well. Something out of the ordinary. You like to get involved in special groups, unusual groups. Even a sect, a different sect. Sect about going to another planet, or believe in an extraterrestrial entity that come and save the humanity. Think like this, Uranus in the 12th house. Hide originality and genius. These people learned early in life that this was the safe thing to do. Naturally, anything that is suppressed causes psychological pressure to build up, and when it blows, watch out. So, people with this placement should have a very good control of this energy, because otherwise, sooner or later, they will shock everybody. Anyway, if they don't care about this shocking, so they are happy in this way. In short, this was about Uranus in zodiac signs and houses. Do you know where Uranus is placed in your chart? If you don't know, please comment below. Until next time, I wish you all the best. Bye bye.